Hi. In the first oral test for grade 5, the examiner is going to play a melody twice and ask you to sing it back or to play it back. Now, most people sing it back, but if you want to play it back, that's another option. Bear in mind that you may decide you want to play it back because possibly you don't like singing very much. And to play back the melody is in many ways quite a bit harder than singing it back, but it's a very good skill to develop. So as part of your preparation for this, you might like to try playing it back and just see how you get on with it. And we're also printing these melodies so that if you want to try playing it, you'll be able to see what the melody actually looks like on the page and compare it with your own attempts to repeat the melody on your instrument. I'm going to assume that most people are going to sing this back for now, but I'll give you keys and notes and things in case you do want to try playing it on your instrument. And if you feel you need a bit of extra practice on this before you really get going on the grade 5 test, you might just want to look at the first film for grade 4, where we have a similar test. It's just a little bit harder for grade 5. So without further ado, let's have a go and see how we get on. Just a quick reminder about one or two things we've said in earlier grades about singing. If you're a singer, that's great. You'll probably feel quite confident about singing. If you're not a singer, then the best advice I can give you is to stand as tall as you can without feeling uncomfortable, but stand nice and tall, and it really opens up the whole chest area and makes the breathing a little bit easier. Remember that you'll need a deeper breath to sing than you do when you're speaking. So if you take a nice deep breath, you'll be able to get through this phrase, or maybe even if you have to take a breath halfway through, that's absolutely fine, but you won't be left kind of gasping for air, singing one note and then needing another breath. And if you get plenty of breath support in, it's amazing how it boosts your confidence and how it helps you to sing in tune. So nice deep breath, and as you take in a breath, you should feel an expansion down here like this. So you feel this expansion going on as the breath comes in, and if you take that nice deep breath rather than just little shallow breaths, sort of like that, which are not going to get you beyond a note or two, deep breaths from down here, that will really help with your confidence. Most people sing to la, but you could sing to another vowel sound if you wish to, but la works quite well. And if you really try to open your mouth and project the sound, again, that all boosts the confidence of response. But remember, the examiner is not trying to test whether you're a wonderful singer or not. The examiner is just merely trying to find out if you can hear the notes and the rhythm that's being played and reproduce it as an oral response and, of course, partly as a memory response. Well, let's try one of these and see how it goes. So first of all, you'll be given the chord. Now, if you're going to sing this, you won't be told about keys and so on, but if you're going to play it, then you'll be told that this is a chord, in this case, of G major. So here's a chord of G major, and here's the first note, B. Then 2 bars of the pulse will be counted. That will help you realise how many beats there are in a bar and just get that pulse established before you hear the melody. So here's the key chord, here's the starting note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is again. Okay, you sing. Well, how did that go? You probably find in that one that you want to take a breath halfway through. You know, there's a slightly longer, lower note halfway through. That's a very good point, just to take a breath, just to make sure you've got enough support to get through the last couple of bars. Okay, well, let's try that one again. I'll play it twice, and then I'll play it while you sing with me, and that will hopefully just give you a bit of confidence in singing back with me. So here's that chord again, G major if you want to play it, and the first note B. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is again. Okay, now sing with me. Here we go. And. Okay, you're probably just beginning to get to know that tune. That's absolutely fine. It will just help to build a bit of confidence and get you used to the length of the test. Now, one thing that I was suggesting in grade 4, which you might find helpful again here, is in order to try and remember what's going on, just to try and think of the pattern of the music. So in this case, you know, we start on a note, we dip down a note, we come back to the same note, we step up a note, we skip down, step up, and then we've got a skip down and then a lower note, and then the biggest leap of all is going up at the beginning of the second half, and then we go up from there by step. There's a little skip, and we come back to that tonic note, the first note of the scale, to finish. And sometimes just having a kind of picture in your mind of the shape of the melody kind of really helps. The other thing I think is if you can remember the rhythm, that also helps you just to attach notes to the rhythm. So I hope that one went well for you, but feel free to rewind and do that one as many times as you want to. For now, we're going to move on to another one. Now, the melody may be in a major key or in a minor key. I don't think that's anything you need to worry about at all. But just so we get some practice, having done one in a major key, we're now going to do one in a minor key. So if you want to play it, it's in C minor, and here's the chord of C minor. And it's starting on C, that's middle C, which is the key note or the tonic. Now, if you want to play this on an instrument, if you play a concert pitch instrument, then life isn't overcomplicated. So if you want to play it on the piano, for example, or the flute or the violin, then this is a chord of C minor, and this note is C. If you wanted to play this, say, on a clarinet in B flat or a trumpet in B flat, then you just have to sort of think into a different key. So you have to think of this as a chord of D minor, and you have to think of this note as D. And then the sound that you produce will tie in with the C minor concert pitch. If you don't understand all that stuff about what we call transposing instruments, don't worry about it too much, but just that the transposing instruments read in one key and sound in another key. So if this is in C minor and you're playing a trumpet in B flat or a clarinet in B flat, you'll just have to think in D minor with the first note as D. If you're playing something like the alto saxophone, well, life is slightly more complicated because you're reading what we call a sixths away. So you'll have to think of this as a chord of A minor starting on A. I think for most people this won't be a problem, and as I say, most people will choose to sing the test. Anyway, here's the chord of C minor, and here's the starting note C. So I'll count in 2 bars of the pulse, then I'm going to play it twice, and then you have a go at repeating the melody. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here it is again. Okay, I wonder how that one went for you. Let's try it again. I'll play it twice and then I'll play it a third time while you sing with me. Here's that C minor chord and the starting note C. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here it is again. Okay, sing with me playing. Here we go. And. Well, I wonder how you got on with that one and whether it's helping you to feel a bit more confident about it. You may be someone whose voice has broken or whose voice is breaking, in which case you may want to sing that an octave lower. And just to kind of give us an idea what that might be about, you're hearing the melody here. And you may want to sing it in the lower octave. And that is absolutely fine, of course. Okay, let's move on now and try a third example. We're going back to a major key this time. This one is going to be in 6/8 time, because it's possible at grade 5 that you might well have a melody that's in 6/8 time. It doesn't particularly change anything, because in 6/8 time there are 2 beats in a bar, so the examiner will count 1, 2, 1, 2. It's just that those beats will divide into groups of 3 quavers. And sometimes this 6/8 can take you slightly unawares, because you hear that counting in of the pulse with 2 beats in a bar, and maybe you think it's going to be quite slow, but then actually the rhythm feels quite quick, because we're dividing those beats into 3 quavers. But it shouldn't be anything to worry about. It's just so we kind of get used to dealing with a few things in 6/8 time. So this time the key chord here is D major. So there's D major, and if you want to play this on a concert pitch instrument, then D major is your key. If you're going to play it on a B flat instrument, such as the clarinet or the trumpet, then you want to think in E major. And the first note here is A, and that's obviously going to be the case for any concert pitch instruments. If you're playing on a B flat instrument, just think B. Obviously, if you're playing on an E flat instrument like the saxophone, then you've got to think up a 6. So you'll have to think in B major, and you'll have to think that the first note is F sharp. But once again, most people are going to sing this, so you don't need to worry too much about all of that. So here's the key chord, and here's the starting note. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here it is again. Okay, well, I hope that gets you used to singing a melody in 6/8 time. And as you can see, there's nothing to be too troubled about, but you might have just got this point about the pulse being counted in and then some of the rhythm actually feeling reasonably quick. So it's just a question of kind of getting used to that. It's rather nice singing in 6/8 time and playing in 6/8 time. It's got a kind of lilt to the rhythm, and sometimes that just helps to make the tune a little bit more memorable. Anyway, let's do our usual thing. I'll play it again twice, and then I'll play it while you sing it back with me on the third occasion. Here's the chord of D major, and the starting note A. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here it is again. Okay, sing while I play and. There we are. And if you wanted to sing that back in the lower octave, it would sound like this. And hopefully that just helps you to make that adjustment down to the lower octave. Okay, moving on, we're going to do another one in a minor key. So here's a chord of G minor, and here's the starting note G. If you're on a B flat instrument playing this back, you need to think A minor with a starting note of A. Okay. Again, most people are going to sing it. Here's G minor and the starting note G. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here it is again. Well, I wonder how you got on with that. Some people might just slightly strain with a high note of that. Don't worry if that happens to you. Just try and keep as relaxed as possible. Try to keep the throat nice and open and have the sound forwards. And one little tip when you go to high notes, try not to look up. Some people look up when they come to high notes and actually it slightly strangles you and makes it harder. So if anything, do the opposite. I mean, don't look at your shoes, but when you come to high notes, you might just slightly dip your head and it will just help to keep things a little bit more relaxed there. But remember, it's not about the quality of the sound that you make that matters, it's can we find the notes. You may have found that that one was for some people a little bit easier to remember. The rhythm of the first bar repeated in the third bar. The sort of pattern of the first note came again in the third note, slightly different, but the same kind of thing. You might also have heard that some of those notes were staccato, and sometimes that just helps people to remember things. But anyway, keep the kind of pattern of notes in your mind. So we're starting on this G, we're going up a few notes, we're skipping back, and then we're going up by step to the top. In the middle is a big leap. It's actually a whole octave down. And then we repeat that lower note before we climb up by step, and then we jump down to the lowest note again before we come back to the tonic, or the key note, the first note of the scale. So any of those sort of things that help trigger the memory side of this, quite useful to hang on to. Thinking of the shape of the melody, realizing that something's repeated, whether it's the rhythm or a melodic idea, thinking what goes by step and what leaps. If there are leaps, are they small leaps or are they big leaps? If you can spot something like that octave leap in the middle, all these things just kind of help. If you kind of feel that it's gone home to the tonic note at the end, even if something goes slightly wrong just before it, sing that tonic with great confidence at the end. Then at least it finishes well. Because one of the dangers is, if you sing a wrong note, you kind of lose your way. Or if something goes wrong with the rhythm, you kind of feel that you've got disconnected with where you should be in the bar. So any of these things that you can hold on to, I'm suggesting is a useful trigger for memory. Okay, well let's try that one again, and we'll do our usual trick again, where I'll play it twice and then I'll play it with you while you sing it back. Here's G minor and the starting note G. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here it is again. Okay, sing with me. Here we go. And. And again, if you wanted to sing it in the lower octave, just to help you kind of engage with that, it would sound like this. Okay, time to move on to a new example. Here's the key chord. It's A major, concert pitch for those who want to try playing it. That's B major for the B flat instruments. The first note is A. Obviously it would be B for the B flat instruments. So here's the key chord and the starting note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here it is again. Okay, now I'll play it another couple of times, then you can sing it back with me. I wonder how much you can remember of the pattern of that melody. So we start on this note A, we go up by step. There's a slightly jerky rhythm at the start. It's a dotted rhythm. After the third note, there's quite a big leap down. You're actually coming down a sixth, if that's helpful, but quite a big leap. When you get to that bottom note, we repeat it before we leap up again. When we leap up, we don't go quite as far as the note that we left at the end of the previous bit. When we get to that higher note, we come down by step, and then we go up by step again to finish. Okay, quite distinctive rhythm, dotted rhythm at the beginning, then there's a longer note, and then at the beginning of the second half we have some quavers before it slows down again into the last notes. Okay, I'll play it twice, then we'll perform it together. Here's that chord of A major and the starting note A. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here it is again. Okay, and together. And. Okay, let's do one more example to finish. This time we're going to be back in a minor key. Here's the key chord. That's D minor if you're wanting to play it. E minor for B flat instruments. And the first note's D, or E for B flat instruments. So there's the key chord, and there's the starting note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is again. Okay, I hope this is now beginning to feel more confident than it was at the start of this film. Well, let's have another go. I'll play it twice, then we'll perform it together. Here's the key chord and the starting note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is again. Okay, and together. And. And in case you were wanting to sing that in the lower octave, it would sound like this. Well, I hope that gives you some confidence in singing, in trying to remember these melodies, and just in dealing with the way that that test might be presented in the exam. So good luck with that, and when you feel happy about that, you will be ready to move on to the next film, where we're going to do a little bit more singing of a different kind.